That means that the others do not need the course, or the course is not that successful. But anyway, we're trying to do our best. Now we stopped last time in number 4, paraphrasing exercise. I would like you, please, as usual, to suggest your way of paraphrasing number 4, and then we can discuss. So waiting for your answers. And please, in case you don't see my presentation, because we may, these days we have problems of internet connection, please inform me in case you don't see your my presentation. Okay, so I've seen many good attempts. I've opted for one. Now you stop writing, please, and you tell me what you think about the example given by your friend. Is there any remark? Did she paraphrase all the ideas mentioned in the original sentence? Yes, no. If no, you can, or if there is any problem, you can show it and suggest how to correct it. I'm waiting for your feedback. So, what do you think? Is there any remark about the example, the sentence given by your friend? So, so here, if you want to replace the word knife, yes. So your friend is suggesting a dagger. That's a possibility. There is a small difference between a dagger and a knife. So, Jalal, you think that protect does not paraphrase defend? What do you suggest then? I think it's okay for protect. When you defend yourself, you are protecting yourself. Yes, is there any other remark? That's all? No other remarks? So I think that it's okay. No other No problem. What about the word assume? Now here she has paraphrased the word thought with assume. Is it okay? What do you think? Yes, believed. I realized. I believed. I would say better, or I considered. I considered that in case. So assume is close to. Though assume, same with the guests, is when you think that something is true without having proof. That's normally the first use of this word. But here it's more about considering, taking this as an option. So I would say maybe better use considered. I considered. Now here saw me in the shrub. In. What about in? And see why he went near the bush, because he want to be hidden. Yes, Yamna. Behind, because he wanted to be hidden from other people. Okay, so me behind. Now here better. I could protect myself with my dagger. I think that it's a very good way to paraphrase. Very few remarks. Good. Okay, now number 5. Now try to give your suggestions about number 5. Mm-hmm. Yes, many sentences were good. So what do you think? Is it okay now? Deeply sleeping. Yes. So maybe because we should try to change the word asleep, sleeping, or can have other synonyms for sleep, like slumbering, slumber, for example. Yes, Hisham paid attention to the tense. You are right. normally because it was in the past. Then we should keep the past, right? So maybe you can change the whole thing. I slumbered so fast. Now here fast, we have the word fast. We can change it, very easy. Fast, quickly, yes. That I forgot. So here it's a good way to paraphrase before I remembered. So I forgot to get my dagger out of my pocket. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Is this okay now? Acceptable? Yes. Good. Now we start the new text, the value of human capital. Now who can tell me in one sentence, or maybe the title can help you tell me about kind of resume of the idea discussed in the text. What do you mean by the human capital and the value of human capital? Or in one sentence, try to summarize the main idea of the text. What do you mean by the value of the human capital? What do you mean, Jalal? Now we saw here are giving us the gist of the text, which is the importance of human capital, which is what does the text suggest? That to reach development in a country, what do you need? Development can be achieved in a country thanks to what? Yeah, education is very important, but when you talk about education, yes, Mukhtar. Now, if we think about countries, now here, Mukhtar talking about human individuals. No, no, it's not. We are talking here about meritocracy, though meritocracy is mentioned in the text. But yes, Tarek, it is people that make a country a developed one. People, it's citizens. All right. Now, many would say you cannot be developed if you don't have oil. Yes, yes, Yamna. Instead, you can say to develop a society. Yes, we have to focus on because that's the important thing you have. It's like for a business. You cannot have a successful business without having qualified employees, good employees, hard workers. Okay, same for yes, Khadija. We should invest on humans, but stop complaining that we don't have oil, we don't have, we are not a rich country. We can be rich by our demography. And that's why, I mean, demography is something that many people don't pay attention to. But if you notice, it's nearly difficult to be a very small country having a very small number of people and being a very developed country. We have many cases like that. Think of countries of the Gulf. They have oil, Qatar, for example. But they have a big problem when you don't have humans, people, enough people, but not just a question of number, but people who are well educated, as Mukhtar mentioned, qualified. Yes, Yemna. Yes, we're talking about quality, but quantity is very important, by the way. Okay? You can imagine, it's like in the case of a family. If you have one child as a family, if you have one child, he can be a good child, can be a bad child. So you are, I mean, the risk is high. But if you have 10 children, and that's how poor people think, you are sure at least that one of them can be can do something and maybe help you when you are old. Okay, so the human capital is very important. It can be even more important than the resources that a country can have, because you can have resources. You can have oil, for example, gas, whatever. But if we don't have people who are qualified, if we have just drug addicted people, if we have uneducated people, if you have people who are not the right people in managing the country, this country will be a very poor country, though it is supposed to be a rich one. Okay, that's why, as your friend has mentioned a few minutes ago, investing or the right investment is on humans. And if we talk about a country, we can talk about even families. All right, you can have a family. They have money, but the parents, their main concern is, for example, to have a business, a successful business, to build houses, whatever, and they forget the most important thing, that is their children. And maybe they can have many houses, they can have successful businesses, but if your children are addicted to drugs, if they are not well educated, then you have lost everything. And maybe when you will die, they will waste all the money that you spent all your life gathering. All right, now we start with first questions. And here in the text, they give the example of a very small country, Singapore, has no resources, no oil, nothing, but still it has developed a lot. Okay, now first vocabulary exercise. Now here find the text, and here they show you paragraph where you have to look for the word. We have brilliance, and you should look at paragraph 1 to find a synonym. What did you find? Synonym for brilliance. So what do you think? What could be the right synonym for brilliance that you have in the first paragraph? I mean, for those who have done their homework.
Teacher, you can scroll down. We have answered.
Sorry. Okay. So we have 2 suggestions. Wit when you are inventive. Yes. Which one is better? Is it wit or excellence? In the context. Which word you opt for? Is it excellence or wit? Well, for me, the best word is excellence. Though wit can close meaning, but when you have you think well, you're smart, more or less. Wit is also closer, but the best is excellent. I would accept wit also. Now, number 2, chance. This one is quite easy. Find it in paragraph 2. Okay, good. Yes. Opportunity. Good. Now, directed, paragraph 3. Yes. Good. Channeled, coming from the word channel. Okay, now familiarize, number 4. Yes, the others. Okay, adapt, All right. Now we move to the next exercise. Choose the best alternative. Start with cautioned. Yes. Good. Advised. Yes. Now, number 2, livelihood. Good. Subsistence. Insights. Mukhtar, we are in number 3. Yes. Awareness. Now, number 4. Credo. Yes. This is very important in a society where you don't judge people because they have a different belief. Normally, everybody should be free to believe whatever he wants. What matters is that he respects others' beliefs. That's very important. And what matters for a society is that this person is a useful person to himself and to his society. That's number 1. His belief, his religion, this is something personal. As long as he respects others' belief and does not impose his own way of believing on others. Five, underpinned. Yes, affirmed. And last one, relevance. Yes, it's so that's why I say work with other friends. When you are working with friends, if you are 4 or 5 and force gives an answer and one gives the opposite, generally the four students are right. The majority is right. You don't need a teacher to be here and there, and of course you can check, look up the word in a dictionary to get the right meaning. But it's good when you work with friends, then you are motivated to work first, because when you work alone you can be tired sometimes, demotivated. But when you meet friends and you see that you have the same goal, that you are all tired, you forget about your being tired and you focus on, and you say to yourself, I'm not the only one. Group work is very important and it's a very motivating thing. Being alone in your corner, sometimes you think that you are the only one working, and you are mistaken. There are other students somewhere working maybe harder than you. Okay? So this is what you have to focus on. Okay? Working, and then to find a job, etc., leave it for future. Okay? Now your main focus should be on succeeding with a good mark. And believe me, inshallah, if you work hard, if you have good marks, I have no doubt that you will find a job. Because I meet, though we keep on, we know that we have a problem with employment in Morocco. That's a fact. But still, we have people who find a job. I hope that you will be among them, but so that you don't regret, just do whatever you have to do. Okay, now we move to comprehension. Now here, true false questions. You say true or false and you justify. Number one, true, false. So we have those who says true, those who says false. Waiting for one or two more answers. Yes. So here we have the main answer focus here is on he is the was the former. He is not now. A former. This is the because here we are using simple present. Okay, but he is a former prime minister. Yes, Khadija. Number 2. Have adapted. True or false? Yes, so it is true. And this is a quality I advise you to have. Adaptation. Very important. Adaptation is very important. Okay, now, for example, if we take your case, you are studying English, but you are thinking maybe that you can work using the English language, which is more than probable, but you have to be ready to work maybe a job which has nothing to do with the fact that you have studied English. And I have met cases of some students who maybe knowing English has contributed or helped them in finding a job, but they are not working 100% with the English language. I know case, for example, of someone who got the green card in USA. One of my former students, he got his BA, but he did not work with English in the United States. What helped him is a degree he got about electricity, because he studied in a vocational school in Morocco, and he was a technician in electricity. But why they accepted him, and maybe because this green card of United States for those who would like to immigrate, though it looks like it's something done by chance, but it's not. Americans accept people they need. I mean, they don't accept anyone. It's not something by chance that he was chosen. So he was chosen mainly because he has no problem as far as the language is concerned to live in the United States, because that's the key to integrating a new society. So if you want to live in China, first thing that you have to do is to learn Chinese. Otherwise, you'll be lost. And plus, so this student has knowledge of English that will enable him to communicate, to integrate the new society. Plus, he has a degree in electricity. So you can see that But English was very important in enabling him to live in United States, and he is very satisfied there, as he told me. Okay, so if English does not help you directly, it will help you indirectly, especially in the case where you are planning to live in a different country, okay, or even to work in some international companies in Morocco. I remember also meeting some former students who are working in used to work in a though it was more or less a national company, but they were working receiving calls, phone calls. It's not like a call center, but within the company. I mean, when the foreigners contact, they were in charge of talking to English speakers throughout the world. And now we know that in terms of business, the lingua franca of business is English. It means that it is the language adopted between people who speak different languages. So Germans speak English, Chinese speak English, Japanese speak English, etc. So that can be very helpful for your career, but you need to be ready to adapt and to accept any job, because as long as you can earn money, because that's the goal. Yes, it is the lingua franca of the world, especially in business. If you know English, you can communicate with practically anyone in the world. Okay, now we move to questions now. Why is the educational system a success in Singapore? But this is what is said by people in Singapore themselves. Yes. First, we encourage creativity of students, which is very important. Yes, according to the text, of course. Whatever you have, it is according to the text. And even if you are not given this, you are supposed, whenever you have a question in the exam, comprehension questions, it is according to the text. Do not answer. And this mistake was done by some students when they have corrected exam papers. They tend to look for answers from Google, forget about the text working on, which was a big mistake. Yes. So here, two things that are mentioned. First, encouraging creativity of students. It's not about vomiting, I'm sorry to say the word, what you get in class, but rather being creative. Okay, that's why this is something missing a lot in especially in primary school system, public school system. The encouragement of thing that has to do not directly with school. For example, if you encourage manual work, for example, courses of cooking can be very important. Yes, you're right, Fatem Zahra. Not exactly things that have to do with curriculum to be taught. Painting, whatever thing that will encourage the student to be creative, making things with their hands. It can be sewing, it can be knitting. And here, why we do encourage, that's because when you do this, you may, a student may discover his talents. Yes. Well, I hope that it's not the case, Khadija, with all, because sometimes it depends on the reaction of teachers. But it's good to encourage creativity. And when you do those things that has nothing to do with the curriculum, because teaching is not about just giving a lesson, it's about encouraging students to think about different things, to try to do different things. And maybe some students may discover a hidden talent, a hidden gift. Yes, you're right. That's why I do encourage you to have a hobby, to do something apart from studying, to be member of associations, to practice sport. I don't know. You do something apart from studying and sleeping, and you'll find that studying is important. But if it is you have something else, then this is the thing I hope you are trying to do in the new suggested reform of the high university level, encouraging what we call now soft skills. This is something new. For example, in the United States, if you are good at sport, it can be a module for you. I mean, you get a mark because you are a very good athlete or a very good sportsman. It has nothing to do with your curriculum, but you are gifted. You have something that many people don't have. Okay, so these are things that encourage people to go out of their comfort zone. Yes, you're right. Athletes, especially now that athletes, if you are a professional athlete, if you can be among the best in the world, you can be very rich. And so the benefit is, if to follow your career of sport would be better than, in this case at least, following the career of just studying. Or maybe you can mix studying your studies. If you are interested in sport, you can, if you want to study, you can study things that are related to sport. And you can be an expert, for example, in sports related to in a field an expert in a field related to sport. This is how we can discover. But creativity is very important, and also the opinion of class teachers. Now here, according to they are there, they give importance to the opinions of teachers, and these are the two things that are mentioned that explains the success of the educational system in Singapore. Now, meritocracy. Look at number 2, very important concept. Meritocracy is very important. Mukhtar, pay attention to your answer. You're getting a bit far from what is mentioned. Sometimes you make things complicated for yourself, though the answer is very simple, straightforward. This is now taking the example of Khadija here. That's what we mean by meritocracy in the text. As every person, regardless of race, religion, gender, and family background, has equal opportunity to realize his. It's not because you belong to a race which is deemed to be, as in countries that suffer from racism. It's not because you have the right religion, especially in countries where um, people from different or religious minorities are persecuted. It's not because you are a man or a woman. It's not because you belong to a very important family that you can be successful. I'm sure that you are thinking about Morocco, and you say in Morocco, this is something a widely believed thing, that in Morocco there is no meritocracy, and that if you want to get a job, you need to have the help of a family, or we may have cases like that. I'm not denying that, but still, if you deserve something, you will get it. Be sure that you will get it, so that you get rid of those pessimistic opinions that leads nowhere, and that will demotivate you. Now, even if someone wants to help you, for example, we imagine that you would like to get a job as a driver. in a company, a truck driver, for example. So you have someone in the company that can help to recommend you, for example. It is done. But this member of your family cannot do that if you first does not have a driving license. If you yourself do not know how to drive a truck. You see that your success, first of all, depends on you. If you have no driving license, well, how can he help? You say, well, I would like to help you, but you need to have a driving license because we need someone who can drive a truck in the company. So please get rid of those pessimistic opinions and focus on working very hard, and I'm sure that you will get a job if you deserve it. Okay. Now, sometimes we say, for example, we can have someone who has a company and he has a child. He has his son. So we would say that, well, because the father has a company, it goes without saying that he will give a job to his son in the company. Yes. But do you believe that if the son is a good for nothing person, if he is addicted to drugs, you think that his father, even if it is his father, he is his father, would you think that he will give him a job in the company? No, for sure no, because the father is not stupid, is not crazy to give a responsibility to a son who does not merit. But of course, if your father has a company, but you work hard, you are well educated. Now, of course, you are in a way prepared, but in many companies they give jobs of responsibilities not to members of their families. They don't mix business with affection. They give it a post of responsibility, of importance in a company is given to someone who is talented, someone who is gifted, someone who is qualified for the job, irrespective and reliable, of course, irrespective whether he is a member of the family or not. But if, of course, we have a member of the family who is qualified, who is well educated, of course. But in many cases, we don't have the situation. Okay, so all I would like you to do is to focus on working hard, being among the best, and then al-baqi Allah, as we would say, then I'm sure that you'll find a way. Now look at number 3. In what way, according to the author, our nation's competitiveness and fortune determined more by the quality of its human than the abundance of its natural resources? Then remember that there is competition between nations about leadership. We always hear about the fierce battle, economic battle between United States and China in terms of leadership. And other countries, they all compete, they all dream of being number one in the economy in the world. But what does the author mentions? What does he say in the text? Mm-hmm. Yes. So of course, the author gave us the example of Singapore, which is mainly based on what? Do they have natural resources, Singapore? Does it have natural resources? Yes. Depending, yes, on, yes. So the way the author supports his thesis is giving us the example of Singapore and developing the new in the span 14, thanks to its human capital rather than natural resources, because anyway they don't have. Can you imagine? Country like Japan, for example, they don't have oil. Their land is a very tiny land. They have a lot of natural catastrophes. Always you hear about um, earthquakes in Japan. They have a lot of volcanoes, volcanic mountains. They don't even have places for agriculture, but still Japan is one of the um, most developed countries in the world. That gives us hope in the future. We stop thinking about the success of Morocco depends on having gas and oil. And we have a concrete example near our borders. We have Algeria, for example. Algeria is supposed to be a rich country, they have gas. But in terms of development, those who have been to Algeria, uh, I have met people, Algerians who came to Morocco. We've met during conferences. And also, I have never had a chance to go to Algeria, but people who went there, they were surprised by the um, old buildings. I mean, it's as if Mukhtar, I don't agree with you. Don't forget the big progress Morocco did in the construction of dams, huh? And those dams were behind the success of Moroccan agriculture. Do not forget that Morocco exports its agriculture products worldwide. And we have more than what we need as far as vegetables and fruits. And most of the vegetables you eat are made in Morocco, which is very important. I don't understand your question, last question, where we are for these years. I don't understand. And of course, rain is important, and not just in Morocco. Rain is important worldwide, and Europeans why not say in nearly all Africa, nearly agriculture, Moroccan agriculture is among the best. Rain is very important worldwide, by the way. So in developed countries in Europe, they are lucky to have a weather in which there is a lot of rain, and this helps them in many fields. Okay, I can imagine if for some reason, for we may, because nowadays we are experiencing kind of climate change. The weather is unpredictable in many countries. Can you imagine if one day countries like England, France have problems of rain? Believe me, even with their development in technology, they will suffer. And who knows, this may happen. It can happen anywhere, anytime, especially that when you look at archaeological findings in Africa, in some places where we have the Sahara, where we have the desert, they found pictures, people graved on the stone that shows trees, animals. Means that Africa in the past was not a desert. In many parts now that are Sahara, we have a Sahara or desert. There were we used to have forests, etc. And because of this climate change, this is the situation as we have now. But who knows? Things can change. So if for some reason the weather change and in Africa we have enough rain, believe me, things will change completely. But of course, apart from raining, we need to focus on humans and on working hard and on finding solutions how we can save water, not to waste it, because water means life. Okay, so Singapore is a very good example. You don't need to have gas or oil to be developed. Yes, of course, relying on agriculture alone is not enough. It's good to recently we started like producing cars in Morocco, which is a very important industrial activity. But agriculture remains very important. So, in a simplistic way, at least you have something to eat. Can you imagine if you cannot produce food, your own food, if you have to import your food, that's a big problem for a country. But it's good if we can have a kind of balance between agriculture, industry, can be very important. Good. Now we move to paraphrasing. We start with number one. You have to not to confuse democracy with meritocracy. Are two different concepts. Miriam is giving a good way of paraphrasing. So pay attention, please, to the suggestion of your friend, and tell me whether you agree, if there is any suggestion to modify something, or is it okay? Read the sentence of your friend. Yes, do you have any opinion, or is it okay as a sentence? Yamina says it's okay. Yes. Yes. Self improvement, self development, self reliance, self dependence, ethic, moral. Yes. Meritocracy, a system of merit. I think that's excellent as a sentence. Yes. So take it as a model. Number two, self-reliance or autonomy also. When you are autonomous, training, very important. And this is something, again, I would like you please to bear in mind. Because when we say training, it means learning something new. Okay? Now, for you, for example, you are free during the summer holidays. Why not look for a training, even if you are not paid? Whatever training you have will be important in your life. You'll be someone different after this training. So if you can work somewhere, uh, anywhere, I would say, it's first better than staying at home doing nothing. Plus, you learn something new, and this will have an impact on your personality, on your self confidence, and you'll have something to say in your CV apart from knowing English, which is important, but not enough. If you help your father in his shop, this is learning something. If you learn how to sell, this is a very important skill not given to anyone. So do not belittle anything that you can learn, because it may help you one day somewhere. Who knows? So training and retraining. Well, now here training has not the meaning of practicing. It's not like when you say training, when you practice sport, that's training. But here it has another meaning, which is linked to learning. So it has nothing to do with practice, okay? Because to train, when you check it in the dictionary, you can find that it means to practice. But when it is related to sport, but here we are talking about education, then practicing is not the right word. Now here I'm choosing the example given by your friend Fatima Zahra. So here, maximizing human capital, she has paraphrased with to boost human resources, which is a good way. Okay. Training and retraining, she says education and re-education. Yes, because mainly training here is linked to education. Maybe also coaching. Okay. And so it's only by helping your human capital to get more knowledge, according to the case of Singapore, that you can reach development. Is there any remark about this sentence given by your friend? you have any suggestion, or is it okay? So just remember, when you check in a dictionary synonyms, make sure that you keep in mind the context where the word is used. Training in the context of sport is practicing, but here it's in the case or the context of education, which is different. Yes, any remark? To boost, to amplify, to maximize. So there are no remarks. Yes, yeah, practice not just in sports. I agree with you, Khadija, but here in this context, it is not appropriate. We say practicing does not work because we are talking about education, about learning new things, um, especially learning new things. But you're right, the word practice can be used in other contexts apart from sport. Yes. Okay, so if there are no remarks, we stop here. I will tell you about the next text to prepare. Take care of yourself, and see you next time, inshallah. Goodbye.